Okay, copy. Oh yeah, there's a cat. I see a cat upside down. Another cat. A few more cats. Maybe we can get around there. Okay, thanks, Albert. A couple of lions just in here off to my right. But I see another leg in the air. That must have been quite a commotion for the guests at Arathusa to have had this all night or early this morning, woken up to the sound of lion killing and eating. And okay. Oh, there's a whole carpet of lions just off to our right. Hello. Morning. Very good, and you? Bye. The smell of kill. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This can't be kahumas. This must be the Tsalalas, for sure. For now, let's stop and have a look from here. Need to figure out what is our best angle. One little cat was just getting a frown on its face. There at the back. Let me come forward a bit. Also, I'm blocking the entrance, exit side. Oh. Hello, little cat. Gonna go around the bend, around the gory bush, round and round the gory bush. Monkey chase the weasel. Where does a monkey ever get close to a weasel? So maybe. Whatever it is. Sure, that's a big pride. A big pride of cats. Some of the remains of the kill looks like could have been kudu. The breast still intact and the two hind legs with a hoof. You see a shoulder blade. These are youngsters, there's still one eat. Morning, cat. How many did we count up there? 8 or 9 or something. These 3, 12. There's one. But it's back to us. She's still chewing on something. birds in the background are the buffalo weavers at their nests. There's another weaver that doesn't use grasses, uses twigs, uses the nest most of the year. All year.
Mark. Mark. When somebody wants to come here, you say, there's a space for 2 vehicles. Don't count me anymore. You know about the Yingwe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Safari Donga.
And just before I went on leave, we were in exactly the same place with Tingana. The glimpse that I had, not a very big leg.
Enjoy it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. If I can maybe move a little bit. Forward. She's not going to really help much. Just get us directly behind this cat. To try. There's no way to get in there. There are a lot of dead trees here, so we can't really get in. But it's what's she looking at? People on the deck. They're right in front of the lodge. I mean, it's not very. Not very far at all, in fact, they're going to be able to see these cats from their breakfast table. Oh, she's creeping closer. I'm going to probably get a little bit of a snarl, maybe. Putting her nose very close. Ah, it's a big kudu. That's quite a big kudu. I can only see one horn though. So that's interesting. This one crept in almost as though she knew the other lioness was finishing on the skull. It wasn't even a young kudu bull. Looks like it was a fairly large kudu bull. Not much of a skull by the looks of things. Think you come in? Nothing. No way of knowing how things are working. 6, 7-year-old. They only get there just getting its red leg. Piece of skull. Maybe. Okay. No. Where we go? Again. I want to get a Okay, there we go. So it was a sub-adult male kudu. Trying to carry that. Only the top of the skull. Most of the skull is and well. That's the best we can do for now.
Yeah.
But strange enough, most of that skull has actually been eaten.
Smells like a butchery.
It is a butchery. That just butchered a kudu. Single kudu wouldn't go very far with all of these cats, but they all seem to have fed somewhat. But it must have been quite a fight, you know, when cats, especially if they're hungry, this number of cats. Catch something. It's a free for all. Each one's got to get its jaw clamped on some part of it, and unfortunately, even the size of a kudu wouldn't last very long. There will also be a lot of snapping and snarling and swiping at each other with their claws out. From this sort of angle, with all the quarry bush and fallen bush willow, you wouldn't really say that there's a dozen cats sprawled out. It can be quite easy to miss. Hoping everything's fine with broadcast, because I can't get hold of Nikki.
So if this was a water bug, would we smell powerful smell?
Yeah, it would be pretty. Although I suppose the stomach contents would maybe overpower it. But yeah, I think we would smell it. Somewhat different.
All the other ladies, they go to the line.
Cool. I just got a bush telegraph saying that everything's fine back at FC, so that's good to know. I'm sure there are most likely questions coming in, but since I can't get Nikki, I can't hear her, I'm not going to be able to answer any of the questions as yet. But we are going to sit here for some time. We can resort to a more slightly different communication system. Cat's watching you. Cat's gonna want some of that.
Okay, so
The coveted item. And so it's not so much a case of feeding and actually getting sustenance as much as it is, I suppose, in a way, pretending to enjoy something that clearly there's not really that much coming off of it. It's more a trophy, I suppose. Interesting question coming from Jane in New Zealand. Hello, Jane. Wonderful to hear from you. Would the kudu use his horns in defense? But certainly try. But of course, with a number of lion like this, you see, it would probably take just one cat to sort of restrain him, and the others would be so close that they would probably be on top of it so quickly that it wouldn't. If it was a single one-on-one attack, I think if it was like a lioness taking up of this kudu so quickly that I doubt whether it would have made any difference, or I doubt whether he would have had a chance to be able to use the horns. But in some cases, yes, in fact, in many cases, kudu will try and back themselves off into a bush or something, and most definitely try and defend themselves. Diana wants to know when it was killed. I don't really know, Diana, but I'm guessing it must have been maybe during the night or very early this morning. I would have to defer to some of the viewers. Hang on a sec. I'm sure we could hear from one of the lodges, or rather one of the guards from Arathusa. It must have been heard overnight. Also, as far as the camera is concerned, it's interesting for the viewers who did have a look at this morning. I must have been watching it from the camera. Maybe when daylight came about, it might have been too far to see with the infrared. I'm not sure. That would be very interesting to read people's accounts of what they saw on a Arathusa camera. Ellen wanted to know which pride. This is known as the Tsalala Breakaway. Somebody getting up. She's a big girl. How many total Tsalala Breakaways? And this is only the second time that I'm seeing them. The first time I saw them, there were only I could only see a couple of them. Let's see what happens here. She's stood on a thorn. Wanting to come and get a piece of the trophy. There's a yellow-billed stork that's landed as well behind us. We're going to get a look at that later. That's got nothing to do with the carcass. Haven't seen the better they're still in the tree. The better there is gone. Just flew away. Has gone. Has left. Len wants to know if there are any youngsters or they're all adults. There are some adults. I can see a young male. I want to familiarise myself with the Tsalala Breakaway Pride. I guess having not spent time with them, I'm not familiar with them at all. I've read data about them, but I just don't retain that stuff in my head sometimes. Franklin making a noise. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can see about 11. But they are obscured. So I'm missing maybe 1 or 2. Two, 3, 4, 5. I'm not counting maybe that one. Hard to count, but maybe when we leave I'll be able to do a better count. So around quickly, then we can have a look at that yellow bull stalk as well. Right in front of the breakfast area. Quite a bit of hippo commotion going on there. Wow. Hippo making waves. Yellow bull stalk gone down to... See, they must have been chasing this one off that's swimming here around the mark here. Fast hippo can move in water. But I think most of the fight is over. Must have been a bit of a dispute over space. There's a question from Anna Marie in New Jersey about the cats. Do lions get into squabbles for the remains of a carcass? Sometimes they do, Anna Marie. Sometimes when there is very little left. In fact, I can't help but say it depends, because sometimes on a very big carcass the squabbles will be there initially. When they first make the kill and they're hungry and they all want to get a piece of it, no matter how big it is, even if it's a giraffe. So at first there's always a squabble. But as far as the remains are concerned, if it's a very large animal and they've all had their full, pretty much like now. The only remains there are the they need to move around a little bit around the sighting so we can get a cross section of what's going on. But this one was waiting her turn, so she's now got the base. They seem to have chewed most of the skull away, but you can see what makes these different to deer. You can see how much of a part of the skull the horns actually are. To be waiting their turn to chew on the base of that the top of the skull, the base of the horns. See if the other one, she looks like finally broke a piece off of, and she's now chewing on it. There are some youngsters here, some sub-adults. There's some that look like maybe 6-8 months old cubs, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see them now. Now, there's been a bit of activity with this female taking a piece and parading it through the pride. Some of them were sitting up and taking notice. A little boy lying there, just rolling onto his back. He's not even a year, I don't think. They must have sisters too. There are some other youngsters. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus that one back there, 11. Maybe. So difficult to get to see all of them. So, now what I suspected was from the back of the skull, which this lioness is now eating, looks like that's the axial vertebra and the cervical vertebra. The vertebra that attaches to the back of the skull. And what looks like could be C2 and 3. Trying to get it. Look how she's looking at you all over the top of her nose. Very rough tongue, trying to lick the meat off of the bones rather than, as well as trying to get it, I suppose, with her incisors. Maybe if I just go a little bit back. Come Wendy, a little bit back. No more gravity.
We good here.
Pardon?
You okay here?
Okay. Just pull, oh there, gravity finally working. 1, 2, try to do another count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe 13. Seems my push telegraph's not working anymore. She's had enough. Is she going back to this? She's going to lie down. I think I better move. We can get another view now, because we don't really have much of a view except a tail. Not even a twitching tail. Wait, move a little. Wah. Okay, I'm going to turn around. Re-enter this area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 5, 6, 7 over there. So there's 7 just through there. Wait, Andrew. Bear with me for a sec. It's okay. Count that one. 8, 4, 5, 6 here. 13. Call it maybe 13K. But we are hard pressed to get a view of all of them. Is that good? Four lionesses that are about 6 years old. They were sired by the Mapojos, by the way. And then 9 sub-adults. Of which maybe were sired by the Mhangeni lions. That's from Blair in New Zealand. Thank you, Blair. Much appreciated for the information. Somewhat oblivious to the noise at the lodge. is asking if the hippos are most likely going to stay in the water if the lion are here. Well, the hippo are likely to stay in the water more because it's daylight rather than any other reason. But even if it were night time, no, the hippo would exit the water and go feeding. That there might be a confrontation. Remember, the lion are only here one small patch. There are a lot of places for the hippos to go that won't make them cross paths with the cats if they were still here tonight. But it would be an interesting thing to come back this evening and to see if because they're not likely to go far. It's a cool day, so they might move elsewhere to lie down, but they're not likely to go very far. In fact, if anything, they're most likely going to stay here because they will wake up later and they will be thirsty. And so it's quite likely that they might be around when the hippo do come out this evening to go grazing. But I don't think the hippo will be too concerned with them. I don't think the lion are not going to take on an adult hippo. They might try and make a play for a youngster, but well, hippos get very protective over their young. Karen in Holland is saying the lion are pretty close to the people at the lodge. Is it not dangerous for the people who are staying there? Not really, Karen. The lion are not likely to. It's quite cute, rolling over and hugging itself. As long as the people stay in the lodge, it's very important that when you are guests in the bush, you don't go wandering off on your own. It's one of the, I suppose, a very pertinent question, given the cats are here and how many times people do wander off from a lodge. Because out of sight, out of mind, they might think that there's nothing going on because they can't see anything. And well, you wouldn't see these cats if you were wandering from the lodge right now until you stumbled upon them. If the lion were to walk through the camp, which they can do, and which has happened, especially I've been in camps all over Africa that haven't had fences, they haven't had any means of keeping animals out of camp. It's the whole reason why the camps are there, is to be immersed in the wildlife experience. So you have elephant and sometimes even lion in camp. But it's very important that guests get a very, very strict briefing and they adhere to rules. And you do have staff that look out for guests. I suppose the one saving grace is that lions don't see us as prey. They might see us, might be an ingrained, inherited instinct that we are competition, we are a danger to them, because humans have been around for as long as lions have been around, just about. So they know exactly what we are, and if anything, they're more afraid of us now than ever before. There are places in Africa and Asia with more leopards and tigers in Asia, but there are places where communities live on the verges of wildlife areas where there are no fences, and lion have been known watching people move around. They made no move to go and attack those people, and those people made no move to come and chase the lion. So there's this sort of status quo that exists, that if you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. But I do have to emphasize that with the type of tourism and the operations that they have here in the Sabi Sand, generally it's pretty safe for the guests, because the lion don't see the humans as either too much of a danger, or they certainly don't see them as prey. Having said that, at night time it's very important to look after your guests. It's very important for the guests to be seen back to their rooms if they are lying about, even if there are fences around the lodge. Sometimes fences don't hold things like cats. So I think we're going to start making our way elsewhere. We're going to try and come back to these cats later. Arathusa.